Okay, so today me and Esmae are extremely lucky to be in a position to set up our new Helsport Pasvik Lavvu. It's a 6 to 8 person Tipi, and we've also purchased a Nomad tent stove to go with it. So we burnt the tent stove off last night for the first time, and then, like I said, we're about to set up the Pasvik Lavvu and then see how we get on. So I'd like to give a big shout out to the 191st St Mary Scout group for giving us permission to camp here tonight on their lawn. And as you can see, it's a decent sized lawn, and I brought this noisy monkey with. So like I said, we're gonna do a bit of a time lapse now at the first time we've unpacked and set this Helsport Lavvu up, but yeah, kind of expecting good things. Right, see you soon. See, that is the Helsport Pasvik 6 to 8 person Lavvu. So from widest point to widest point it is 4.5 meters, and from flat spot over to flat spot on this side it's 4 meters across. It's 8.4 meters tall roughly to the peak, so just about 8 foot. And to be honest, it looks very, very well made. So at the top of it there you have a chimney system that opens up to allow for either a small fire at the base of the pole, or in our case a stove. So that is all activated then from string systems on the inside, so you can pull two sides open if you want to, or one side simultaneously. So we're going to have the front open and have the stove sitting just at the base of the pole over here. It comes with dual connection guy ropes all round. It's a single pole system. Roughly took me 5-10 minutes or so, and obviously this is the first time out of the pack to pitched, sort of 5-10 minutes. So at the base of it, each part of the hexagon you've got a peg, and then you've got one peg that sits in the middle. So in total there's 12 pegs for the base if you need it, and then there's another 6 for the actual guy ropes themselves. So the Helsport Pasvik, well, any of the Helsport range, whether it be the Pasvik or the other one off the top of my head, they'll come with an inlet vent on the side, and then again this pole system at the top is actually got an internal bug net, which at the moment I've clipped up, but in the summer obviously you can have a small fire in the base of it and then put the bug net around the pole, and then a bug net on the actual vent itself. Again, all done on drawstrings. That vent can be closed right off if you so wanted to. So let me just disconnect you and I'll take you inside. There we go. So this is the vent I was talking about. Again, just done on a drawstring system. So there's the material, and there's the actual bug net itself, which is quite cool. This is the string system then that leads for the actual top hood, which if I pull, so if I slacken off the green one and then pull the red one, you actually see it closes up, and then you've got dual strings on the outside then for sort of holding it open or holding it closed then, so if the wind kicks up it's not going to if the rain kicks off, it's not actually going to come inside the tent. As you can see, that then opens right the way back, which I think is pretty cool. So all I've had to go on is obviously the specifications for size and the stuff you get on the internet. So far, if I'm being honest, it's not necessarily as big as I was hoping, but in some senses I think it's sort of small enough. The stove should heat it up, no problem there. And yeah, we're due for lows of about 5 or 6 degrees, me and Esmae, and I think we'll be quite comfortable in here. What do you think, Ez? Have you eaten one of our waffles already? Alright, just go steady with that pole, alright babe? Good girl. So this is the Nomad tent stove that we purchased. We purchased ours through Karma Canvas. We've done the first burn off with it yesterday. Sausage. We've done the first burn off with it yesterday, and so far, hugely impressed, if I'm being honest. It seems to be very efficient on wood.
It doesn't come with that teapot.
It absolutely pumps the heat out.
It doesn't come with that teapot.
No, we bought it separately, didn't we? Yeah. Right, watch out, babe.
It was for Mama, but then she let us borrow it.
Right, okay. So, what we got here then, this is obviously the stove base itself. It's got a built-in vent system then for stoking the fire. It's got a lockable door system, and straight out the pack, all the flue sections are actually inside there. Now, not ever using this with this stove, with this tent before. We've purchased one more flue section through Frontier Stoves. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get the flue sections out, start getting them made up, and see how it fits with this tent. So I noticed since first burn off last night, all of these flue sections seem to slide nice and neatly inside and out of each other, but since the first burn off, it seems to be a bit of a pain in the backside to actually get all these flue sections together. I'm sort of worrying more so actually about getting them apart again after I spent a night, sort of best part of the night, sort of burning away, you know. Take this outside and have a bit of space. Sections up together now. There we go. So that's actually positioned now, so none of the parts of the flue are actually touching the stove, and that's then the heat proofing I put on the actual flue sections to try and protect the Tipi, and then the spark arrestor at the top. So we're looking at somewhere about 400mm proud of the top of the tent, which I'm happy with that for the spark arrestor, but we'll just have to monitor the heat of the flue. You know, it is a flame retardant material that this Pasvik Lavvu is made out of, but it just remains to be seen sort of how that flue's going to get.
Yay!
Okay, so in order to light this stove, what I've got here is a couple of very small hexamine tablets, and then moving on from that, I've got some very damp but should be quite easily burnable paper. Got a small bit of kindling that I processed yesterday, so You know, it's not the smallest process kindling, but in theory it should, you know, it should all start to take well. Now, I recommend when you're setting this tent up is to, once it's, you know, established, get the lid itself on, and then leave the door open for a minute or two, just to ensure that it's all up and running. There we go, so I'll just leave that for a minute or two, let the stove itself set up. Okay, so the door system itself works quite simply. It's an overlatch. They threaded it so you can sort of bring it out to make it a nice tight fit without it being, you know, too much. So we should start to see a bit of a draw producing now. I don't know if the light's sort of good enough to see it, but we're getting a bit of smoke there just as it's starting to produce some heat. Oh yeah, as you can see, that's all starting to take now quite nicely. Get that. Okay, so me and Ez are all set up now in the tent. Esmae's drawn us a nice reindeer picture, and it is cosy, isn't it? Don't you think it's cosy? So the stove's been going now for a couple of hours, just gently back in the background. Managed to get enough heat out of it for a cup of lemon tea. So we're chilling out now. And a couple of rounds of Ice Boy. Who was the winner?
Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment we're using the new Pathfinder kettle. It's a little 1.2 litre kettle with a built-in strainer then for loose tea or sort of bag tea or anything like that. To be honest, I'm quite looking forward to getting out into a bit of a pine coppice and brew a bit of high needle tea or something like that straight out of it. And like I said, it works well because you can stick everything in there while the water's heating and it steeps quite nicely. So the tent's looking a bit messy already. We managed to borrow a couple of chairs from the scout hall. So in a little while before we start looking at food, we're going to have a bit of a clean up already because it's getting a bit messy. And yeah, start getting our bed spaces set out.
Done.
So just wanted to sort of speak to you guys about sort of this tent in what we're doing in regards to a bit of tent safety. So for this trip, because we've got an enclosed stove, we do have with us a carbon monoxide alarm, Fire Angel carbon monoxide alarm, which as the evening goes on I'm going to tie to the centre pole about halfway up the tent. Should help us sort of detect, you know, any nasties should they get into the tent. And we've also got a small powder fire extinguisher. Just thought it was probably a bit over the top, massively over the top, but it was just a wise precaution. So at the moment we've got flue all set up, going straight out the hole in the top, and I've made that hole as big as I can. Was a bit worried really about the flue coming into contact with the tent, and the flue at the top there does feel very, very hot. However, feeling the actual tent itself, the tent feels barely warm, to be honest, which is, yeah, really encouraging. You're not getting much sort of heat transfer, which is cool. There's the little fire angel carbon monoxide alarm. It's all been tested, all works. Down there, like I said, is the powder smoke alarm. So, I said hugely over the top, I would assume, but you know, it's just a wise precaution. Good morning. Well, just got out of bed, set the fire back up, stuck my sausages back on and got a bit of water on the kettle. Had a pretty good night's sleep all in all. First thoughts to the hot tent are it gets surprisingly hot at times. And it's also surprisingly how quick the temperature dies down, to be fair. But I've enjoyed it. I definitely think, you know, the idea's got legs and it's something we will use again and again. You know, I had a mixed bag of sleep. But I don't think being right next to a road sort of helped. But all in all, I had a pretty good night's sleep, to be fair. So I'm going to fire up breakfast. Need to kind of get out of here today, so I'll fire up breakfast and then get out of me and then get moving. As you can see, we saw a bit of rain last night into the early hours of this morning, which hampered out too bad because actually the puddles of it's just held all that sort of snow flap area down. So I did notice sort of the more the puddles built up, sort of less breezes and stuff drafted underneath, which is pretty good. These little extra lines here going up to the top vents really helped, because this is the direction the wind was coming through last night and you could feel it, you know, wanting to start coming underneath the sort of the temp heat, but it didn't. So happy days. So all the water's beading quite nicely and falling off. Nice piece of kit. Me now all packed up, waiting for me lift. Been running out a good clear up of the area, had a litter pick and stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I forgot to bring my charger, so I managed to squeeze everything into one battery's life. So don't know, it'd be interesting to see what footage we got out of it, but I hope it was a good representation of the Helsport Pasvik 6 to 8 person Lavvu and the Nomad tent stove. I want to give a shout out to Tamarack Outdoors for the purchase of the Helsport Lavvu, and Karma Canvas was the company I got the Nomad tent stove. So both products in themselves seem to be fantastic products, and I hope you get plenty of years worth of life out of them. Well, like I said, thank you very much for joining me, and hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye.